I'm Kiko and I interview the most talented people in the world, aka the undiscovered artists of Los Angeles, often working minimum wage jobs or sometimes attendees of school. And today I am here with
Naiobi.
What do you do, Naiobi? Tell me.
I'm an art school student.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah?
that's what I do. It's my full-time job is college right
Full-time
now.
job is college. All right. Tell me
Yeah.
where you're from and what is your dream?
Ooh, okay, it's a good one. I'm from LA, born and raised. And my dream, I think, would be to be able to design something that really helps, and especially with representation in the high art world. I want to get to that place where I can help other like POC artists and designers and people that look like me to kind of believe that they can get to those kind of luxury kind of spaces that we're kind of barred from.
That's very important.
Because I mean, even now, like I just grew up never thinking I could do it, because there weren't many people who did, or like were like not many people that I saw,
Yeah. Well, it's just wild because Naiobi put this beautiful fit together today for me. This is all Naiobi. This is not me. So I'm like even staring at myself. Like, when did you like have your artist awakening, I guess? Or did you know you wanted to do this your whole life? What's the artist backstory?
Right. Honestly, so crazy. I feel like I was one of those kids where like my parents noticed I like to draw at 3, and then every Christmas like I got like art materials. I got an easel, paint, like all that stuff. So honestly, like as soon as like early as I can remember, I was drawing and painting and always making stuff, and my parents really encouraged that. And so yeah, I very quickly became known as like the artist in the family. So everyone would like for my birthday or it would be like, oh, some colored pencils, some markers. So yeah, I was kind of always, I knew that I was artistic. I just didn't necessarily know if I was going to go to art school or not.
Or you're like, you said that you're like the artist of the family. Are your parents artists, or are you just
I would
just
say
born
like
this way?
I have like a really creative family. Like my mom was in a band when she was like she was the lead singer. My dad also, he like works in film, so he like went to film school and like was like always worked on sets, and he likes writing. My sister as well, she's a really good writer and singer, and we're all very into like movies and film, and we talk about it. So I feel like I do come from like a pretty creative household, I'd say. But I guess I'm just more the visual art.
I know you also said to me that you like to be behind the sines and you don't like to be in front of the camera. Tell me that. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because when I was younger, I'm the little sister, so like I don't know. I was used to the attention, and I liked the attention. I was always like putting on little performances and things like that. So like I grew up like craving that and like liking being in the center of attention. And
what changed?
I don't know. Maybe like puberty, teenage. I became a teenager, and I was like
society.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, like so constantly aware. You start to just like care about what people think. Like when you're a kid, you're not thinking about that. But I do like to perform, I guess, more just like with other people in a sense. Like I did choir and a cappella and plays and musicals and stuff like that. So like with other people, but sometimes I have trouble like standing on my own in front of a camera or like in front of a crowd, I'd say. I feel a little more in control when I'm like behind the scenes.
So is it a control thing?
I actually do think it is, because I'm like a very anxious person, like just naturally, and it's something that I've like constantly have to work at. So I do think like things that I feel like I have control on, or things that I know I'm good at, or that I can call the shots, I really like kind of just like go for that, because there's already so much like unknown that kind of goes in with art and everything, where it's like naturally going against my like anxious nature, and like I need to plan everything out. So like even doing the shoot was like really anxiety provoking.
Really?
Yeah.
You seem like you knew. You just slickly went through it. I was like, oh, that was quick.
No, but like I came here the week before. I made sure I knew what the store looked like. I took photos of the aisles, like all of that, because if I didn't, oh my god, I'd be a mess. I'd be like, I can't deal with like an unknown like variable. Like so.
Wow, that's why I was like, she's like, she just
planner. Like I made a whole presentation.
You did it all.
Like I was like down to the yeah, but then of course there's always gonna be things that I can't plan for. So like I do still, I'm like, oh well, they let me even shoot in the store. Like I don't know until it happens.
Yeah,
we
just went in there.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out. I did like plan a lot for it ahead of time. It was really fun though.
I know. I had a great time. I had a great, and I grew up.
You were so good in front of the camera. See, I could not have done that. I think
you could. I think it's just a matter of
believing.
Yeah. I think so, because I was not like this my whole life. No, for sure not.
Really?
And I have the worst stage fright out of everybody I know, and now I don't, because it took years of working on it. But
was it just like a practice thing as you like?
I had to keep like like there were moments where I would be like deer in headlights on stage, and I just had to like get through those moments. I was like, or even like in elementary school, like presenting in front of the class, I would just freeze. Yes. I didn't know. I would just. And just be shaking so bad, like You also already mentioned a few different types of art that you do, but tell me, what are your all your art forms?
I have always I definitely always felt very confident in my traditional art skills in terms of drawing. That kind of just came naturally to me, like being able to sketch what I saw. That started when I was really early. And then, a lot of it was self-taught in terms of painting and drawing until I went to college. And then I started getting into photography more in college, but I had like a little experience in middle school, just like playing around with film and whatever. So honestly, I really enjoy photography. I really like the editorial sphere, so layout and type, and I'm an illustration major. So that's where like the drawing comes in, but there's also a very big part of it that's design based. So the reason I like gravitated toward illustration is there's like so many mediums that fall within it. Like even in the curriculum, like we had to paint, we had to draw, we had to use just graphite and things like that. And I was always so afraid of having to choose one thing because I just feel like I can't. Like I like to kind of get my hands in everything or like mix a bunch of mediums, like digital artwork with traditional, like scanning that in and like all that kind of stuff. I like kind of playing around and like layering different stuff together.
I want to know about art school because I feel like there's like a certain, almost like a grunge kind of like sort of like a about art school that I don't understand because I've never been. But tell me about what is it like being in art school? Like truly.
No, I mean I feel like there's such a stereotype about art school. First of all, like as just like being crazy and like everyone's drugged out and like which is not true. Like there is some truth to that, and I think especially like also being in LA, there's a stereotype of like, you know, superficial like kind of aspects or like clout or whatever, which I think can come in, but honestly it's so hard. It's like nothing could have prepared me for how hard art school is. Like I think people can like kind of laugh at it, or whenever I say it I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in art school, like haha, I'd like draw for my class or whatever. But like our studio classes are 6 hours. We then get about 6 hours of homework on top of that. We have 5 to 6 classes a semester. We don't even have like clubs, like really that many clubs at our school, because there's no time to do an extra curricular kind of thing. It's just art, drawing, like that's your focus. And so a lot of all-nighters, a lot of people just be at school, like literally multiple of my friends will like, I'll see them the next day in the same spot wearing the same thing, like because they were like, oh no, I've been working here like the whole time to get like a major project finished. And I feel like because art is so subjective as well, we're really hard on ourselves to like get it to a certain kind of level. At least I'm like a perfectionist, so like it's not as much as like a traditional assignment or a math test or something, because there's not as clear of a answer for what's right or wrong kind of. So yeah, it's honestly like I really have fun classes and I enjoy learning, and I think that a lot of people in traditional like universities, or like my friends in traditional universities, like, oh, I have to take this like boring class, this like general like requirement or whatever. And I've never had that. I've always been like, okay, this is super hard, but also super interesting, and I'm learning a lot. But yeah, it's a lot of time, and like for someone who I like work 2 jobs while I'm doing it, I'm like chronically ill, so there's always kind of like I always feel like I'm on my last legs a little bit, and then I have like a break, and I'll be able to rest, and then it's kind of like back to work type of thing. So it's very hard, but it's also so cool. Like you have the most interesting like conversations and critiques and just like these random things where like you can really just make whatever you want, and it's super cool to kind of like see other people around my age and like how their brains work, you know. It's like a cool community.
What has been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome in regards to your artistry or in life?
I mean, I've kind of touched on it in terms of my anxiety as well as just my physical health. I've always kind of had certain issues growing up that would like I experienced a lot of physical pain early on in my life, and like trying to like figure that out as a kid, and you want to do all these things, but if I pushed myself too hard, it would, you know, it would cause problems for me. And also starting out, like it would take me longer to get certain subjects, or like if we were learning something new in math or learning how to read, learning how to tell time, I was always slower. Like I always had to put a lot of extra practice to understand. And so I grew up really thinking I was stupid. Like my sister, I have an older sister, and she was like gifted. Mm-hmm. So like reading above her like age level, mm-hmm. like amazing at math. Like math was my hardest thing. I was a slow reader. Like so I like really just like I think the hardest thing for me has been like expectations that I put on myself in terms of anxiety, and then physical health. I think I can see it as like I feel like a lot of the time I see myself as weak because of the things I can't do, or how much time I need to rest, how much sleep I need. And so like it's kind of the challenge has been like changing my mindset in a sense, mm-hmm. because I'm really used to working hard, because like since I was little it was like, okay, I need to put in 2 extra hours today so I can get better at reading, I need to do this and that. And so like nothing's really ever come that easily to me, honestly, except art. Like drawing, that always felt like okay, something I can do, and even learning new mediums. But honestly, like everything else mm-hmm. has been a challenge. So it's kind of like something I'm still working on in terms of like mindset, and kind of like trying to reframe situations to be less negative, because I'm just like more like naturally a negative person.
Especially with art, like your own creations. I'm sure. I
like,
understand that.
You're like their worst critic kind of thing.
Yeah, the crippling self-doubt, which I was actually going to ask you. Tell me, what does your crippling self-doubt try to tell you?
I think I'm also a very practical person, so it's like, you know, oh, you're going to be a starving artist, like, what are you doing? Like, you went to a private school, your parents, like, worked hard to send you to there, it was, like, really academic, and you threw it away to go to art school and just draw, and, like, also, like, how is this helping the world? Like, there's so many issues in the world, like, why couldn't you be, like, a scientist to, like, cure, like, global warming, or, like, stuff like that? So a lot of time, it's, like, this like, thought of like what I'm doing is like useless, kind of like mm-hmm. okay, you can draw a pretty picture, like cool. And just the self-doubt that I'm not good enough to kind of make it to where I want to be, you know, because mm-hmm. I have like high expectations in myself, and so whenever there's a possibility or the thought that I can't reach it, it's pretty crippling. I think there's like a lot of self-worth I hold towards like achievements, clear signs of progress. Mm-hmm. So when I'm not meeting those, it's pretty tough for mm-hmm. me. Tortured artists.
The tortured soul. That's what I'm like, artists are tortured souls.
Yeah, we are.
In kind of opposition of that, I am doing this thing called the Artist Way. Have you ever heard of it?
Is that what like Doji was talking about?
Yeah, no, that Doji did it. I'm not kidding. And a lot of very successful artists of all kinds have done it. Okay. But I just started it, and so I literally just thought of it when you're at some point when you're talking about something, because one of the exercises that you do in the first week is you write a letter or to an editor or something in your defense, which in essence is like promoting yourself.
Right.
And in doing it, I had like kind of a spiritual experience. But I was just wondering if you were like advocating for yourself, like a letter to the editor or whatever, like what would you say? Like you are talking about you almost.
Shoot, that's tough. So I have to like praise myself.
Yeah, I know, very uncomfortable, right? I understand.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I guess, I mean, I would say I have like a really strong work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't shy away from challenges because I'm used to it, and so I'm determined, and I push through obstacles or things that are hard, and I honestly don't like them to be easy. I'm always pushing myself to be better or to work harder. I'm never really satisfied in terms of like, I always know there's something else you can do, and I'm always willing to do that. I'd also just say like, yeah, I'm really interdisciplinary, which I think can be really cool. Like some artists, you know, they only have that one thing they can do, which is pretty cool in itself. But I also think there's like another cool aspect of being I'm pretty solid in like a lot of different areas that come together for projects. Because a lot of the time, like a project, there's different visual aspects. And if one person understands the language for each of those aspects, I'd feel like that's pretty useful. And like, so I guess that's kind of how I would sell myself a bit. Yeah.
Good job. Good job. Last question. How do you feel like us fellow artists can support you, and how in turn do you feel like you can better support the fellow artists?
I think a big part is showing up. So in terms of like how I can support other artists, I think, you know, we're all trying to find our place in our you know, our own like spotlight. And so, you know, my school has like a ton of like art exhibits or galleries and things like that, and I feel like for me, I'm like recently really trying to be active. Like obviously, you know, you're busy, right? You have things to do and whatever, but like I really know like from my own like feeling how much it means when someone shows up, even just for a minute, to be like, oh my god, this is super cool, I just wanted to stop by. So I've been trying to do that more in terms of like, yeah, going to like my friends' shows and things like that, even if it like, you know,
which is funny because that's how we met.
Yes, that is, yeah, exactly. So it's also that like idea of like, if I didn't go, like we would have never met.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've recently had a lot of those experiences where you're just like, oh yeah, I met her with this like art exhibit and we got to talking, and now it's like a cool friend, like someone that you know. And it's really a small world too, because then it's like, oh, you know so and so, and I do too, and like whatever. So I think that's just so like great. And in an entity, like being an artist is that community of like, we're all artists in different ways, and you know, our minds all think differently, but there's this quality of like creating beautiful things and being able to notice beautiful things as an artist. That's how I would want to show up for artists, and how I'd want someone to kind of show up for me, I guess.
Got you. What's your name? Tell us your socials. Yeah. Tell me your next events that are coming up, if any.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
No,
yeah.
seriously. Tell them. Tell the people.
But not my art Instagram is at Obi the artist. Obi the artist. Yeah, I don't really have anything coming up recently, but I have actually I've made a few books by this point, and people have kind of told me to think about getting them published, or to like think about
like photo books, or what, like illustrations.
A children's book I've done I'm really proud of, and like only like, you know, certain people in my family like know about it, and I sent it to like my little cousin and she loves it, and so people are just like, it's like been I've never thought of myself as like being an author or like something like that. So I don't know, I feel like I might play with that more, and so like, yeah, I'm hoping that becomes a thing that people can support.
Let me know.
Yeah, I will.
Please let me know. Okay. Thank you. Woo! Thank you for everything. Yay!
Such a good talk.
Bye.